Welcome to Five Stripe Weekly, everyone. This week we take a look back at that frustrating result against New York Red Bull that left both of us asking, what the heck is a foul in Major League Soccer? I no longer have any idea. All that and more, coming up.
Welcome to the show, Five Stripe fam. I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button. So guys, let's get right into that disappointing loss at the hands of the Red Bulls and possibly the officials. But you know, the match started off pretty well. I thought we had the upper hand for the first 30 minutes. And it looked pretty good for us. We got that early goal by Barco. Joseph, he put away a good goal that eventually was disallowed. I mean, I gotta say, in the match prediction, I had us at a 2-2 draw, and with the way the match kind of played out, with Joseph's goal being disallowed, with the penalty that I don't feel like is a penalty, and Bradley Wright Phillips' 2 goals. I think the score is actually 2-2 in my head. For my sanity, that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to move forward as such. But what did you really think of the match, Tanner?
It was extraordinarily disappointing. You and I talked about it a lot, actually, in fan cams after the match. And if you haven't watched that, if you want to see me right after a match trying to be contained, go watch that. But, having gone back and seen the replays now, which is one of the things I hadn't at the time, there's just so much about that match honestly just pisses me off. And the thing is, it's not really just one thing clear cut or the other. Yeah. The players performed poorly. After calls went against them, they could not respond at all. I don't know what happened, but they lost their heads and they were very poor from that moment on. The officiating was woeful at best, and it wasn't just with the VAR calls, it was with the inconsistency throughout the entire match and the way the match was officiated. Yeah. Miguel, he got absolutely just tanked a couple times, no calls, no cards. Which kind of
led to, it directly led to the first Bradley Wright Phillips goal.
Yeah, and so it's like, I don't understand that. And then you have the Joseph goal that's overturned. The more and more I watch it, the more and more I get irritated by it. I understand why it can be called, because technically Joseph does clip his heels. I think it's silly, I think it's incidental, but some being laws of the game, it can be interpreted as a foul, so I understand that. That being said, I think the defender made a very poor attempt to try to shield Joseph from the ball, and he should be punished for playing poorly in that sense, because he was terrible, and then Joseph had a great finish. I think the penalty, upon further viewing, is incredibly, incredibly soft. We talked about soft penalties last week with the Garza one in Orlando. He took an elbow to the chest and went down. Phillips, he throws himself to the floor under the most minimal contact from Robinson. I don't know, the ref, I don't know if he thought that Robinson hooked him. If anything, Bradley Wright Phillips has his arm trying to create space from Robinson, which creates the contact, and then he kind of jump falls.
It's like a fish flop type of thing.
It was incredibly poor. But I mean, again,
he gets the veteran call.
He does, but at the same time, it's a veteran. He gets the veteran call from a referee that had absolutely no idea what was happening the entirety of that match. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it wasn't just the officiating; it was the team. Everything combined to just have a piss poor performance all around. Yeah. And that's why you get the 3-1 result going against you at home.
Definitely. I mean, I think the flow of the game was completely killed as well. I mean, with all just, the confusion of everything going on, no calls, rightfully so. I think, most of the 45,000 people there were just bewildered, upset, and I think they're justified. I mean, and I think the people watching at home as well. I mean, you even have players that have nothing to do with Atlanta United coming onto Twitter and saying stuff like, consistency from refs really matters. We just don't know what is going to be called match to match, minute to minute.
Foul to foul. I mean, everything is different. I mean, and the funny thing is I actually tweeted about it, quoting him, but it was Benny Feilhaber who came to Atlanta United's, in a sense, defense again. This is the second time this season. Fun fact, both times have involved Mark Geiger in some way, so there's a common denominator. But if a player who does not have a dog in the fight at all in the particular match is coming out and saying, look, I have no idea what the hell is going on. That's the way the fans feel. That's the way I imagine Atlanta United's players felt, and you can see that in their post-match comments. They have no idea what's going on. And I get that officiating on the global stage isn't that great. But right now in MLS, it is absolutely woeful. And the fact that they're using VAR almost as a crutch, which is not the way it's intended to be used, because let's all be honest, whether or not we agree or disagree with the call on the Joseph goal being disallowed, that ref knowingly didn't blow his whistle because he's like, if I mess up, VAR's got me. And then, of course, he felt, okay, I think I might have messed up. And then everyone has to back him because that's his call. And you're not going to, say, your coworker was wrong in that scenario. But, he's using that as a crutch. No, that's not how it's supposed to be used. You saw the play clearly. I mean, if you can't make a call from 10 yards away directly looking at the play, you don't deserve to be an official in Major League Soccer. If you do not know what a foul is, don't officiate. If you don't have a plan on getting better, or if you're not confident in yourself, do something else, or don't be the main guy. Yeah,
I think he's got to be very decisive, while the actual play is happening, not because VAR allowed him to make the call posthumously.
No, allow him to miss the call and then come back and make it. I mean, honestly, if he had blown his whistle at that time, everyone would have been pissed. We would have booed for a second, and then we would have gotten on with our lives and not thought twice about it. I've seen that exact same thing called before, where a striker's running onto a ball, accidentally clips the guy's heels, it's a foul. It happens. If he had blown his whistle right then, like he thought about doing, because if you go back and watch the replay, he has it in his mouth and then lets play continue on, he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think the explanation to Parkhurst during the match, it's ridiculous. I mean, essentially, he's being told that, I thought, it might have been, but, I essentially used VAR to find out if it actually was. I mean, it's to tell a player that too is just it completely tells you.
It basically tells him he has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's not sure any call he makes, that takes away any credibility with the rest of his calls the rest of the game, because he doesn't know what he's doing and he needs help from VAR in order to make calls. The point of VAR is to assist if you miss something big, whether it's a red card, an offside, a goal, something big. Sometimes a lot of the time you can't even see it. That's how Zlatan got sent off yesterday. The ref didn't see the slap. He goes back and sees a slap. Zlatan gets a red. That's what it's there for. It's not there to help assist you because you don't know what you're doing. I mean, that's not the point of it. And if that's what it ended up becoming, the game is going to be completely ruined because, as you see with almost every Atlanta United home game right now, the play is getting stopped every single time something happens because they need to review the play. It ruins the flow of the game. And
players don't even know.
They don't even know.
They don't even know if they can celebrate a goal. The rest of the crowd as well. We're just okay. I was kind of the same way. It's I'm gonna celebrate knowing in the back of my head, this goal may not stand because something. I mean,
there's a great picture of United celebrating the first goal, and LGP is looking back at the ref going, is he going to review this for offside? Mind you, Barco was not offside, but you can completely understand why they would have thought he could have been offside. And it's good when it gets the decision right. I'm going to be honest, I mean, the McCann red card against LAFC, I think all of us could agree, VAR, fantastic right there. It's great when it goes your way, and it's annoying as hell when it goes against you. The thing that pisses me off more than anything, I can deal with it if the call is right and it goes against Atlanta.
But it's a judgment call.
I can't deal with it when it's a judgment call that they have no idea what they're doing, and they're doing it over and over and over again, and there's no consistency. And then the players have no idea what the actual reasoning is because the ref can't give them one. When that's what's happening, something is wrong. I saw a stat today. There have been 35 overturned calls this season in MLS. 7 have happened at Mercedes-Benz. 7. How is 1/5 of the entire league's overturned calls happening at one stadium? I don't know if that's because the league's, I'm not going to be putting on my tin hat here, but it's is it because the style of play of Atlanta United is too fast for the officials? If so, get the good ones to actually do it then. But for some reason, that's statistically pretty crazy.
It could also be, the home crowd, our nature of being very loud, the pressure that it puts on the referees, the players, it could be a factor as well. I mean, it all could be a factor.
I mean, if that's a factor, then get referees to actually have some balls, because you know you're going to be hounded. It's part of the job. It's in the job description.
Right.
You're never going to be always right.
Right.
People will hate you regardless. It's how it is.
Right.
You have to be able to accept that and then move on and professionally be able to do your job.
Right.
And to be honest, it wouldn't shock me if some of them cannot do that. If they do get intimidated, if they do feel like, you know what, I'm going to call things a certain way because I have a big ego. I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty sure Mark Geiger has a pretty big ego. There are certain refs that just have big egos. He comes off as one of those guys to me. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they intentionally call games against Atlanta United, but they think they're bigger than the game sometimes. Perfect example, Mike Dean in England. For those of you who know, Mike Dean is a very showy ref. He gets a lot of calls very, very wrong. He's one of those guys that likes to make it about him because he wants his name mentioned in the newspaper articles the next day. Mark Geiger to me feels like that. And to be honest, I'd rather have Mike Dean because he sometimes gets calls right, and Mark Geiger, for the life of me, I don't think he can. I'm glad he's going to the World Cup. Piss off. I can't wait to watch him blow a call there and shame himself, because it will happen because he is terrible.
Yeah, and Tata Martino mentioned after the match in the press conference, he's like, Mark Geiger, he's on you guys, as in like the U.S. We don't claim him. Like he's an anomaly. Like if he screws up a call in the World Cup, man, you're on your own.
Yeah, on his own. No defense from America right now. At least not from Atlanta. I mean, good God. I mean, he's just pulling things out of a hat. Is it a foul? Is it not? I don't know. I don't know the rules. Who knows the rules? Let's go to the VAR screen and get it wrong. Right. However, I have to digress as much as we're ranting about the officials in VAR.
Yep.
I do not think that is the sole reason why Atlanta United lost that game 3-1.
No, absolutely. We came up against a very, very good team. The Red Bulls are very good, very scary. They high pressed us to oblivion, essentially. We had the worst passing percentage we've had essentially this year at 71%. They neutralized Nagby, who is usually, it's so hard to dispossess him in midfield. A lot of I think this is, my worry going in, and I think it's kind of what happened eventually later in the match is in the 3-5-2, while yes, it's allowing the Red Bulls to have a little bit more possession, it really kind of, we were pressed at a further back position than we really needed to be, and Miles Robinson had to, kind of get rid of a bunch of balls, in a fashion that he's not really, he's too young and he's not good enough on the ball to be able to play out of it at this point. I think the inclusion of him was probably, from a playing out of the back standpoint, not the best call. And I think, with Garza and Gressel, they had off nights. We were found out, essentially. I mean, Red Bulls knew where to attack us. They knew, pulling into the space wide behind Gressel, behind Garza, was the way to do it, because Garza was caught out of position time and time again. Gressel,
which isn't the first time that's happened this season, I think I should point out. I mean, you have to give Red Bull credit because they got their tactics spot on and they played very well. Tata got his tactics and his selection wrong. I mean, it's rare that it happens. He got out-coached. I mean, it's very rare that happens, but it did. I think that you could see very early on that tactical adjustments needed to be made. Jason Longshore talked about it on 92.9 after the game about how there was different options that Atlanta United could have used, but they didn't even try those options until it was already too late, and they couldn't. They were basically had to resort to going long ball route one in order to get the ball past Red Bull.
Right.
I didn't really have a problem with Robinson getting included, but I felt that United should have taken a different approach to getting the ball out of the back. Yeah, maybe you have to go long with more goal kicks. Maybe you concede possession more. But getting caught in the ball in your final third or in the back of the middle third is not a good place to be. Yeah. And that kept happening. And some guys, if you're not comfortable on the ball, you can't play out of the back if you're getting pressed really hard. And it's kind of, the shoe on the other foot, because that's what Atlanta do to a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Atlanta were so aggressive that, like we said, our wingbacks kept getting caught out. which kept leading to one-on-ones with our center backs, which, as you saw in the Houston game earlier this season, LGP is not comfortable in a one-on-one. And in my opinion, he was incredibly lucky that we had a shit referee, because he should have gotten sent off in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, that was 100% a red card in my eyes. Somehow he gets a yellow. I don't know how. And stays on the pitch. I mean, he's still suspended anyway, but like, I didn't get that call. But it was time and time again where they kept getting caught out. They kept getting put under unnecessary pressure because they couldn't play the ball well. At some points, it looked like the team had never played with each other before because they were just passing it to spaces and no one was there. See the third goal from, Lorinowitz unnecessarily, conceding possession by passing it right back to Red Bull. Atlanta isn't quick enough to react and get back into a defensive shape. He gets caught in basically a 2-on-1, and Bradley Wright Phillips is able to find space between Robinson, LGP, and Parkhurst, and there's nothing they can do. It's a good cross, it's a good finish, bad defending, bad positioning, bad passing. Atlanta United contributing to their own downfall.
Right, and yeah, so we're not taking anything away from Red Bulls. They they played very, very well. They
affected United to make United play that way.
They forced these errors. And they don't need more than one VAR call going their way to get the result their way. I mean, this is like,
especially when you have someone of Bradley Wright Phillips' quality up front, who's a veteran who knows how to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's something that Red Bull had. They were clinical. That's something that Atlanta United have been lacking all season, going all the way back to the preseason.
Indeed.
Atlanta are struggling to put the ball in the back of the net. Never mind the amounts of goals that they've scored. A lot of those goals, I think we should point out, are from set pieces. I mean, half of Atlanta United's goals have come off set plays, whether it's a penalty or a free kick. So you got to take that into account. So Atlanta aren't playing that well from open play, in my opinion. They aren't taking their chances when they need to. In that first half, Joseph had a gilt-edged chance he should have finished. Miggy had a good chance that he could have finished. Mind you, their keeper played really well. But at the same time, players of those quality, you expect them to take those chances and finish. Miguel Almiron has an absolutely woeful finishing percentage right now. He leads the league in shots by 15. His finishing percentage is less than 10%, and of those 61 shots he has, only 18 are on target. And of his 6 goals, 4 are from the spot. Now, I get Miggy's really good. I get he's been encouraged to shoot more. Shooting more is good if the ball is going on target. If it's flying out of play for a goal kick every time, it's not effective.
But to counterpoint that as well, he has been played more forward than he has than last year. So he's put in those positions that he has to shoot more. So he's just not comfortable, I think, maybe in that type of role. And he will get more comfortable. It's just a matter of, I mean, he's not clinical at the moment, and maybe that's just part of his skill set that he hasn't really developed is, in those positions to be able to put the ball away. I mean, we all know that Joseph can do that, but it's a matter of, if Miggy's played as the second forward, it's maybe asking a little too much of him.
Yeah, I think something to kind of spin this in a good way. I don't personally think Miggy's had that great of a season yet, and that's not a slight on Miggy because I love him, and I still think that more than likely that guy's going to end up winning MVP because once he gets hot, once his team gets going, which they haven't been going so far, they'll be fine. A positive of this, if you really want to take a nice little caveat, Miggy is showing a lot of weaknesses in his game that need to be developed. He has a complete lack of a right foot, which has led to him missing opportunities because he could have shot with his right and he doesn't. And he hasn't been finishing well. Hopefully, because of that, he stays the whole season. Like, teams might not want to get him just yet because he might not be the finished article completely. So that's a little caveat you got to think about. I mean, I rate him. I think he's going to be really good. I don't want this to come off like I'm bashing out.
For sure.
I just know that he can do better than what he's doing right now. And I know that he will do it because we've seen what he can do. Just right now, he's just not playing that well.
Right. And I think the caveat of all of this as well is that, we're not playing in Tata Martino's favored formation as well. We've been playing essentially more defensively than we've wanted to, and so I think some of these mistakes can be fixed as well against a pressing team like this, because let it be known, like once the rest of the league figures out that, oh, okay, this is the way to beat LA United, they're not going to be able to maybe pull it off to the effectiveness that Red Bulls did, but I think they will learn, yeah, this is the way we have to be able to play to maybe at least get a result. So, you know, I think the 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3, whichever one you want to say, it's coming, and there is that silver lining that we can look to beyond this, and I think against inferior teams will still be fine. I think it's just against you know, top opposition in the league right now. I think we've lost 2 and drawn 1, that being KC and of course Red Bulls, and then New York NYCFC. So yeah, I mean, we haven't been the best against the top teams around the league, but I think...
And the crazy thing is all those games have been at home, which is slightly disconcerting.
Yes.
Because you got to think, that's 9 points. You've taken one of a possible 9 out of the 3 best teams you've played so far at home. That being said, I mean, 2 of those games marred by controversy, and you played probably 2 of your worst games of the season, if not the worst 2. So I mean, it's like sometimes it just happens that way. Right. And the part is that, yeah, I said earlier, Tata got his tactics wrong. That's not going to happen very often. I think he's the best coach in the league. I think that everything we say, they already know. Every mistake that we talk about, whether it be positioning, they're going to watch it in film and they're going to work to fix it. And that's the amazing thing, that you have a staff like that. You have the most talent in the league by far, in my opinion. You can figure things out. It's May, they're 12 games in, and they haven't played well. And they're still in first place.
Exactly. And
so the sky is not falling. As much as we're sitting here complaining and frustrated, the sky is not falling. If we're sitting in October and something like this happens, then I'll be a bit more concerned about it. But right now, they still haven't been fully healthy and everything. I still think Tito definitely needs to be a starter. Because something that was interesting that I kind of noticed in this 3-5-2 that they played, and I think it had another reason to contribute to why the team played so poorly, is both Almiron and Barco were given very free roles. They had no defined position. They were popping up on the left, on the right, all over the place. That doesn't help when you're trying to press a team, because you don't know, you can have them popping up on the same side, which happened multiple times. They get in each other's way. They're not in the right places when they need to be.
Yeah. If you look at heat maps, they're usually actually in the same position.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you play a 4-2-3-1, that's a lot more structured. I know it's just numbers and formations, but there's a lot more structure to that, because Barco's on the left, Almiron's in the middle, Vajabo's on the right. Whenever one comes inside, one goes outside. That's how that works. So they're never going to be in the same place, because they're rotating and they're moving. And they have their defined spots, so they start in different areas as well. So I think that'll help them a lot. There's a lot more structure. They can press as a team a lot more fluidly from that formation. And it also forces the fullbacks, being Garza, Gressel, Escobar, McCann, Mikey Ambrose. I think he deserves a definite shout to be playing with how he's been playing at the USL level. You know, they have to be smarter about when they go forward, and that forces them to maybe be a bit more defensive, which is okay because you have so much talent up top that they can still create, and you don't get caught out in the break as much. So yeah, I think the 4-2-3-1 is going to be a switch here we see very soon. We know that that's the way Tata wants to play. You know, hopefully, I talked about controversy a few weeks back. Well, controversy and adversity. They found some. They've hit some. Yeah. Hopefully they can take this and use it as a building block and learn from it and, you know, get better from it, so that when they see Red Bull again, it's not going to happen again. And I think if we see Red Bull again and play them here again, first off, let's just hope Mark Geiger and the other ref are nowhere near the building. And aside from that, I don't think that result happens again. So
yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. But let's get to the post-match comments from the coach and the players, because they definitely went in on the officiating in this match, which is, you know, it's not something that we really want to talk about too much in terms of, you know, we want to talk about the soccer more than the officiating on any match. So, you know, when this happens, it's just, of course, very, very frustrating. So we'll lead things off with what LGP had to say. He said, quote, "Penso and Geiger should be suspended. Penalty call was stupid." I agree, LGP.
His wife agrees too.
Yeah, and his wife was going off on her Instagram story. She was saying, "What's going on with the referees of the MLS? OMG."
In big red letters.
Really? Do you only ask for the VAR to harm Atlanta United? Every game, the same story at MLS. Yeah. It's, you know, she says it as well. They're, you know, you see why they're together.
Yeah.
They're very much, you know, they feel the same way, I guess. But, man, it's just, he wasn't the only person to go off on him. You know, Tata Martino also talked about, you know, a bunch of the moments that happened during the match, but, was, you know, all the VAR affected moments. But I think, you know, you can go back and, you know, read all those if you haven't seen all those yet. But
highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic work.
Very funny stuff.
I love him so much.
If you find some humor in this somehow. But my favorite one was the one talking about the Lorenowitz red card. Essentially, he was saying, yeah, no, it's a foul on the other team. So he gives a yellow card, but the call is for the same team. But what they're doing is covering for each other, and it's logical because they're coworkers. And Parkhurst, when talking about the first half, he said, "We played almost a perfect first half. We did exactly what we wanted to do. We created 3 or 4 good chances to score. We really kept them at bay and until the penalty, so it was unfortunate that we went into the half 1-1. But the response in the second half wasn't good enough. There were some crazy things with the red card that doesn't get a red card, but still, we just don't make enough plays in the second half." And I think that pretty much sums it up that, yeah, I mean, you know, the goals definitely change games, and the VAR definitely changed the momentum. And, you know, while we looked pretty good to begin it, we were absolutely terrible in the second half, and that's why the result is probably fair, even though I'm still imagining a 2-2.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the best way to sum that up, is that Atlanta United deserved what they got in the second half. Maybe they didn't deserve what happened in the first half, and they did deserve to go up 2-0 in the first half. But it didn't happen that way. They didn't respond well. They didn't play well. At the end of the day, it's a culmination of things, both poor play and incredibly, you know, wacky officiating that contributes to this loss. So unfortunately, we take it, we move on, and New England in 10 days, and hopefully they get a pasting on the road. And guys, we have a new segment of the week that I am personally very, very happy about. It's called Waste Man of the Week. And this week, we have a very special winner.
Yeah, and it's not who you think it's gonna be. It's that fan that ran up on the field when we needed those precious minutes to gain some momentum, to maybe score a couple goals, maybe 3. Yeah, no, he completely killed that little bit of flow in that game. Yeah, and
absolute moron.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. If you're an Atlanta United fan, just stop. We don't need you because you're an absolute muppet. I don't care how wasted you are. You ran on at the absolute worst time of the game, and I hate you for it. Congrats, you are a waste man.
Exactly. And you know, there were I can't even count how many. There were probably about a dozen security guards running after him.
Mind you, it took them like 15 seconds to realize what was happening. I saw him run on the field and immediately thought, what's this idiot doing? And then everyone else, maybe they were eating their donuts. I don't know. But then they realized, oh crap, there's someone. We should go get him. We actually have a sub winner for Wasteman of the Week.
Yeah.
And it says one security guard has absolutely no idea what he's doing.
Just as oblivious. So essentially, he's you know, running back where he came from on the pitch. Guzan has to tell him to go back around the net, so that he's not wasting any more time. But man, just the utter stupidity that just caps off just this
the stupidest game ever.
So
I'm not sure what's dumber. Like, I have 3 games in Atlanta's history that just really irritate the absolute hell out of me. Minnesota last season, Kansas City this season, and that game. When it comes to just the pure amount of stupid, I don't think I've ever seen a more stupid game on every level than that Red Bull game this past weekend.
Yep. So congratulations, that fan. And that security guard, you are our wasteman of the week. And one more parting thought on the game. Kemar Lawrence, the Red Bulls player who was in that scary moment where he was injured and was down for a long time. He was taken to the hospital, he was checked up on, and you know, the Monday after, we essentially get good news is that he is well, he is in good spirits, and seemingly everything is okay. So that's great to hear, because it was definitely a very, very strange and just, you know, you never want to see that on the pitch. So
I honestly had no idea what had happened at the time, but then I looked back down and saw that guy wasn't moving at all.
Yeah.
So obviously it was bad. You know, they had to bring the card out and everything. Our best wishes with him. Like I said, you know, he was said to be in stable conditioning and stable condition and traveling back with a member of the medical team back to New York. So we wish him the best. We hope he gets well, because, you know, at the end of the day, it is just a game and we don't want to see anyone get seriously hurt like that.
So guys, our fundraiser with Soccer in the Streets is still ongoing, and Clarkston FC are still looking to get to regionals. So thank you guys for donating so far. We really want to shout out Carmisha Brown and Todd Campbell. Thank you guys so much for your generosity. And moving on to Atlanta United 2, they had 2 games this past week, and they won a 9-goal thriller against Toronto FC 2. That was a crazy game.
Yeah. Featured 2 free kicks from a person that hadn't ever scored a free kick and no one knew could take free kicks. Yeah. Mikey Ambrose.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, he just slotted them in like it was nothing. Like, you know, his best Kevin Kratz impression. But, you know, I think most of the team didn't even know he could, you know, hit one like that. And wow.
Not only did he do it once, he did it twice. That's excellent. I mean, awesome work. It actually got him in a USL Team of the Week.
Indeed, indeed. And so they also had a second game, which didn't go quite as well. But Laurent Kissadou hit this banger.
Laurent, I only score screamers, Kissadou.
Yeah.
Because he's got 2 goals, and both have been absolute worldies.
Outside the box, just, oh my God, dude.
He's looking like a guy that we're going to be seeing in Mercedes-Benz at some point in time.
I hope so, yeah, no, because he's, not only that, he's got the techers, and yeah, I mean, he can pick out a pass. Yeah, he's looking quite good. He's just, you know, work out a little bit of the kinks, and not too bad, not too bad. And with that beautiful goal, he's nominated for USL Goal of the Week, so.
You know what that means.
Yeah.
He's winning.
He's winning.
Get him voted.
Yeah.
Anything Atlanta United related for Goal of the Week, gotta take that.
Yeah, it's tough competition right now, though. He's up against FC Cincinnati's player that, man, they're probably, they know what to do as well.
Yeah, they know what to do as well.
You know, we have a battle on our hands, so.
I really want to see them in MLS. They deserve to be in MLS. I mean, when you look at how much Cincinnati's averaging right now, they're averaging a lot more than a lot of MLS teams. I mean, 22,000 again. Yeah. But, you know, a 2-1 loss for ATL UTD 2 to Louisville. You know, it's roughly a late penalty to lose 2-1. But even though they lost, good part, some debuts for some academy youngsters.
Absolutely, yeah. William Crane and Alessandro Castro. Yeah, that's just upping our academy to Atlanta United 2 count. It's ever growing, and you know, they're getting that game time that's really, really important in their development. So, you know, the losses, yes, are there, but I think they're getting valuable experience that is really going to benefit us.
I mean, they call it the proving ground for a reason. You know, they're trying and they're learning and they're improving, and they're playing against grown men, not kids their age.
Right.
They're going to learn how to play against that. So when they get to the next level, they're absolutely going to be fine. It's awesome to see. I don't care about the wins and losses, especially when you're seeing good performances from some guys and you're seeing great goals from a youngster like Kissadou. And you're seeing, you know, Mikey Ambrose discovering he can take free kicks. He's playing himself into the first team, in my opinion, which is the point of it. And also, you know, you're seeing guys come back from injuries and they get some minutes there as well. So, in my opinion, everything's working how it's supposed to. And I'm not worried about losing to the best team in USL at all.
And in our new segment, Tito Villalba might be teammates again on the national team with Miguel Miron. What? Yeah. Tito Villalba might be switching allegiances from Argentina to Paraguay, and that's, you know, I think it makes sense. He's probably not making the Argentina team.
No offense to him, but they're kind of good when it comes to attacking players.
Yeah.
They have this one guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, his name's Messi, and another guy named Aguero, another guy named Higuain. And they left a guy named Icardi off the team entirely. And fun fact, Mario Icardi is tied for the most goals in Serie A. So they're not lacking in attacking talent.
Exactly.
I think it's a good move for Tito. I think he definitely has a chance to get into the Paraguay team. He's able to do that. FIFA has some interesting rules when it comes to switching. You can only do it one time. But his father is Paraguayan, which enables him to play for Paraguay. He's not actually the only MLS player that's looking like that. It looks like Kaku is switching possibly as well.
Right. Our unfortunate, opponent from this past week, he had the assist on the BWP goal. But yeah, Kaku is also making that switch, and that attack is kind of looking pretty good.
Not bad, Paraguay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, ain't too bad. And moving on to our next topic, our favorite guy, Mark Geiger, outlined in ESPN his daily routine, and apparently he pukes before each game. I mean, dude, we puke every single time we see your name in the referee roster. So same, man, same.
Yeah, he's probably just scared shitless because he has no idea what he's doing for the next 90+ minutes. I genuinely could give a flying, I'm going to restrain myself here. I don't like Mark Geiger. I don't like him at all. No wonder he throws up. He's terrible. I'm just going to leave it at that before I say anything too mean. And guys, something that gets that feel-good factor going a little bit. Big Atlanta United fan Ryan Johnson has a grandmother who is a massive Miguel Almiron fan. And for Mother's Day, comes in clutch with the signed picture from Miggy. That's something. It's a great video. We'll put the link down as well. Definitely give it a watch. Gets the feels going a little bit. It's awesome to see when players can do something for the fans like that, and just another reason why we love Miggy.
Moving on to the standings, we're still top of the East, and we're still on top of the Supporters' Shield. So guys, it's not all doom and gloom, and we're still a point above NYCFC. It's I think in spite of all this, it's pretty good, but we have that looming feeling from New York Red Bulls still.
Yeah, they have 2 games in hand. I think we should put that in. If they win both those games, which the way they're playing right now is definitely something I could see happening, they would in fact take the lead. That would take them up to 27 points, 2 points clear of Atlanta United. It's frustrating. That being said though, at this point in time last year, Atlanta United were on 18 points. A 7-point improvement is really big considering a lot of those points have been coming on the road and they haven't played well at home. So like you said, it shouldn't be all doom and gloom. They're ahead of where they were last year. They're ahead of schedule in my opinion when it comes to the fact that they haven't played that well. So things will sort themselves out. If you're in first place and you're not playing your best football, it says something about how good of a team you are.
Right. And you best believe that we're going to figure out how to win against these top teams around the league. I mean, that's not going to be something that is going to plague us too long, I feel like.
There's too much talent, and Tata is way too good of a manager for that to be a problem. So, in first for now, hopefully, in first at the end of the season, but what really matters is lifting that cup. And guys, our question of the week this week, not a shocker, VAR. How do you guys feel about it? Is it too soon? Is it good? It just needs more improvement by, existing longer, or do you just want to scrap the whole thing entirely? Get down in the comments and let us know what you think.
So that's it for us today, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to smash a like, share this video because it really does help us a lot. And for Tanner McLeod, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.